What's up, guys? It is like past 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, July 9th. I cannot sleep. I tried, but I couldn't, so I figured, why not make a video and just ramble on and do some random things, maybe open some movies and all that stuff. First, I want to talk about a new guy to the scene, YourMovieGuy4K. Check him out. I'll put the link down below. I'm pretty sure that's its name. If it's not, I'll still put the link down below. He has an accent and reminds me of a certain actor.
This is Sparta!
I can't figure it out. Check out the shirt. Awesome image for the 40th anniversary. Bought the poster on Bottleneck Gallery. Alright, I have a stack of movies that I watched recently. I'm just going to do some short reviews. I believe this was my third viewing of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I might watch it again soon. I am starting to like it better. It's nothing close to the original trilogy, although it tries to be. But I cannot help but kind of give this movie a good grade at this point. I know that The Last Jedi, the second movie, kind of messed up this trilogy, I think, in my opinion. And J.J. Abrams has tried his best. This is the best that they could do after the result of The Last Jedi by Rian Johnson. So I really like the Kylo Ren movie arc in all three movies. And they really tried with Rey, the main character. You know, there's obviously plot holes and obviously some serious issues with this movie, but overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the third time, and each time I see it, I like it more and more. The presence of the clone emperor, I guess, is cool. You know, there are some things you just kind of have to accept about this movie in order just to sit down and enjoy it. So, Revenant. I think this was my third viewing since it came out in 2015, I believe. So it's been 5 years, gosh, since this movie came out. DiCaprio won Best Actor, from what I remember. But watching this again, Tom Hardy just steals the show in this, I think. And the cinematography is great. The first half of the film was, and it didn't happen before, but it was making me feel physically nauseous. It was just disturbingly violent, and there's a couple of scenes where it's like, oh my god, you know. But definitely a good film to watch, and natural lighting going on, and I believe the director oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher his name, Alexandro Inarritu. Great director and great cinematography going on. Face Off. I have not seen this since the 90s, and this movie has not aged well. I get the concept, and it was trying to be stylistic and everything. Who was the director? Famous director, John Woo. Directed many films, and it just didn't do it for me. I just thought the story was very choppy, the acting was over the top. You know, and if you're in the mood for that kind of thing, it's definitely worth the watch. So next up, I got this nice VHS slipcover, and this was a movie I hadn't seen since the 1980s, The Legend of Billie Jean, with Helen Slater and Christian Slater. They're both brother and sister, and it's an 80s movie. It's a typical 80s movie with a bad guy who's just mean for no apparent reason. And it's a very feminist movie. It's like a feminist movie from the 80s. I probably won't watch it again, but it was an interesting to kind of go back and see a film like this that was made back in the 80s. So it was actually a blind buy, and you know, talk about a movie that for me has not dated well. Hook. A lot of people like this movie. I just couldn't. It took me like 3 times to, you know, start and restart. I couldn't watch it all the way through, and it took a while, but you know, it's a movie from the 90s, Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, and people who grew up with it definitely like it. It's a Steven Spielberg film, but definitely not one of my favorites from him. Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. This was the second time I've seen it, and it's hilarious. I mean, if you want to watch a immature, funny cartoon comedy about these two friends who like to stir up trouble, this is it. Better than Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs for sure. Not up there with Pixar animated movies, but definitely a fun watch. So, okay, I'm just going to open up some of these cancel culture movies that are on the list, I guess, that rumored to be on the list anyway, of films that are no longer going to be streamed or made again, possibly. So I've been trying to keep up with that, and I got this a couple of weeks ago. First one up, of course, is To Kill a Mockingbird. And I figured if I'm going to get To Kill a Mockingbird, I might as well get Cape Fear as well, which I haven't seen, both Gregory Peck films. I read To Kill a Mockingbird, and it wasn't in high school. It was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And there was a copy somewhere that I found, free copy, and I started reading it, and it was a page turner. I read it a lot and finished it up pretty quick, so kind of want to see what the movie's all about. And there's a bunch of damage right Amazon, you know, some damage on the bottom if you can't see it, but probably no damage to the case or anything. This is pretty cool. It has a universal archive here of contents envelope right there. Go ahead and open it. Okay, so there's 2 theatrical poster reproductions and 4 behind the scenes photographs. Sweet. Has a special note from Gregory's daughter. I'll read that. Celia Peck. That might be Harper Lee, actually, with Gregory Peck. Right there. Gregory Peck reading the book, To Kill a Mockingbird. And that looks like, oh gosh, Sophia Loren. No. Is that Sophia Loren? Gregory Peck and Sophia. I think that's Sophia Loren. Maybe a shot from the film. Either Cape Fear or To Kill a Mockingbird. And there's the reproduced poster. Just dropped it. And then Cape Fear. Reproduced poster. That's pretty sweet. I'm glad I bought this. It was only like $9-10 from what I remember. You know, and I don't know if these movies are like going up in price or no longer available. I know Gone with the Wind is still not available, but that might be the only movie that is difficult to get at this point. So I also bought this documentary. It's called Hey Boo. I guess Harper Lee, the author of To Kill a Mockingbird, and Gregory Peck had a great relationship. So it's, I think, about the making of the film and their relationship. And the DVD looks good from what I understand. It's like a library copy, so I'm surprised there's like no scratches on it or anything. So that's pretty cool. I'll check it out. I'm just glad I bought this. Mary Poppins on Best Buy. I think it was $19.99, the Steelbook. Rumor had it that this movie might be on the list because of, there's like one scene where they're dancing around after cleaning a chimney, you know, and a lot of people saying that might be, you know, considered blackface or something, and they find it offensive. I am not sure if that's true, but that was the rumor. Either way, I'm glad I got this. That was a little dent right there. Oh well. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. It is Disney, right? Mary Poppins. And I haven't seen Mary Poppins Returns with Emily Blunt. She is one of my favorite actresses today. Killed it in Girl on a Train, very underrated film and role by her a couple years ago. Quiet Place, of course. Married to the actor whose name I can't remember from 13 Hours and A Quiet Place and The Office, obviously. There's inside artwork. Actually, you could see right there their faces, you know, are dirty from cleaning the chimney and I guess a famous music scene. Doesn't look like much to me, but you know, it's just my opinion. Oh, this is a blind buy, and I bought this for only $5.99 on eBay. $5.99 shipped, which was I think a good deal. I've looked, and this one is pretty common. You could probably buy one for a good price. It was just rumored to be again on the list of movies that are controversial, I guess. So I remember there, you know, I've seen pieces of this movie, and there is like a pie scene that's pretty bad, and all, you know, it's like a movie in the South during segregation, I believe, but the racists are in the movie, the segregationists are made to look really stupid, you know. So I'm not sure exactly what the controversy is with this movie. Emma Stone's in it, which is awesome. Great actress, very pretty. And there's the Blu-ray, which fell out right there. one of these. I hate these. Got the DVD and digital copy, which I don't see the code for. So, A Time to Kill. This one just kind of popped in my head, and it was always in the $5.99 bin at Best Buy, and I never jumped on it. But I haven't seen it since the 90s. Matthew McConaughey. I believe this was his second role as a lawyer. His first one was Amistad, a Steven Spielberg film, which I would love to get on Blu-ray. I don't think there's any controversy with that movie. I remember there are some historical inaccuracies in Amistad. But it's Anthony Hopkins in it and does great as John Quincy Adams, who was the president and then in his later years is a senator, which is something that I don't think any president has done. There it is, basic disc right there. And this film, you know, is about the death penalty and definitely an issue over race, a case over race, starring Samuel L. Jackson. And one of those movies where, not to give it away or anything, spoiler alert, but everything good happens at the end. It all comes... You know, it's a positive ending for sure. So, haven't seen it in a long time. Can't wait to check it out. And I grabbed a few extra copies of Split. A nice slipcover on here. Bought this for cheap. There was a petition going around to get this taken off of Netflix because of the portrayal of the mental illness of the main character and whatever. He had multiple personality disorders, I think. I could be wrong. But there was a petition. I don't know if it's still up on Netflix or not, but I was like, I'm just going to grab a few extra copies just in case. I already have it on Blu-ray, but I didn't have the slip. That's my excuse. Alright. There is the Blu-ray DVD. Great performance by James McAvoy. And same with Glass, where he plays the same character. Thought he did great. I might do this at the end of not every video, but I do like to read, so I'm going to do some book reviews here. This is the only book that I've read twice, and I read this in college. You could see the highlights and stuff in the pages for a class. And it is The Last Conquistador, Juan de Oñate and the Settling of the Far Southwest. Here in Albuquerque, the statue a couple weeks ago went down.
The sculpture sits outside the Albuquerque Museum, or did until this morning. Now, the artist who created it did sign a waiver to allow the city to remove it and preserve it in fear that it could be destroyed or vandalized. Now,
yeah, freaking mess. Visited it the night before it happened, which was awesome. And then I decided to read this book real quick. Great book. I think it's available on Amazon, and really talks about how Juan de Oñate extended the Camino Real and opened up the greater Southwest and forming the first colony in the modern day United States in Santa Fe, just north of here. So, really good book. Next one that I'm reading, and I'm about 100 pages in, is great. It's a page turner, nonfiction, The Only Plane in the Sky, an oral history of September 11th. It's a first book I've read about 9/11, and there are just witnesses and people who were there, and the stories of all the planes that were hijacked and everything, and it is really good. So if you are interested in nonfiction and events that happened recently, it's a great book to read. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Thanks for listening to me ramble on about different things. I hope you get more sleep than I do tonight, and have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video.